shake, shake no day, our voice will resound. Ambazonia's people will never back down. The chains are broken, the pain is gone. Freedom is ours, and a new day has dawned. Shake, shake, no day, no day, no day. Rise to the day, the day, the day. Shake, shake, no day. Amazonia stands strong, we're marching forward, where we belong. From the rivers to the peaks, our strength will grow. The dreams of our forebears in us brightly glow. Our heroes, heroines, their fire still burns. We honor their fight with the justice we've earned. Shake, shake, and I win. No day, no day. Rise to the day, the day, the day. Shake, shake, no day. Amazonia stands strong, we're marching forward, where we belong. We are building today for the children to come. No more tears, no more sorrow for anyone. Our flag will rise high, its colors displaying. Ambazonia's bright future starts today. Shake, shake, over. No day, no day. Rise to the day, the day, the day. Shake, shake, no day. Amazonia stands strong, we're marching forward, where we belong. We'll shake off the fear and cast out the doubt. Our spirits will rise, there's no turning out. Freedom is our anthem, justice our creed. Shake, shake, no day, with love we will lead. Shake, shake, but that, no day, no day. Rise to the day, the day, the day. Shake, shake, no day. Amazonia stands strong, we're marching forward, where we belong. Shake, shake, no day, the future is bright. Amazonia will shine like a beacon of light. With every heartbeat, our message will be sent. Shake, shake, no day, until the very end. A cruise boy to sing. With heart breathing. Under the moon, where they vex, your whispers they jam. Dreams scatter.
Happy Country Sunday for all nationalists, for all patriots, for all our people there for Ground Zero. We salute all our picking them. We salute all our mommy them, our papa them, all big papa and big mommy them. Una good evening for all una. Good evening, fellow Ambazonians. Happy Country Sunday. Every Monday is Resistance Day in Ambazonia. Mondays are Civil Disobedience Collective Resistance Day. All right. That's a lot going on in Cameroon that most people are not taking notes. Most people are not paying attention. to what's happening in Cameroon. There is a runaway dictator in Cameroon. Mr. Biya is on the run. We'll fill you up with some of those details. But first, let's start. The colonial Prime Minister of Cameroon, Dion Gute, will be making a propaganda trip to Ambazonia. The colonial Prime Minister of Cameroon, Mr. Dion Gute, will be making a propaganda trip to Ambazonia. We'll be going to Ambazonia's capital in Biya for a propaganda tour. What we all need to understand and what we all need to know, the Ambazonian people, our collective resistance, our collective fight for freedom, for dignity, and for self-preservation, we have prevailed. Most of you don't just know it. We have prevailed. Most of you don't even know it because you're paying attention to distractions. You don't know that you've defeated Cameroon because you pay too much attention to distractions, which are deliberate distractions that are created by Cameroon to keep you in that state of mind, not knowing that you have defeated Cameroon. Before we go into all the details, I want to thank our forces across the 13 states for their tenacity, for their courage, for their bravery, for their nationalism, and for their dedication of service for our collective freedom. This is the first generation in the history of the Ambazonian people that have put up such a fierce resistance campaign against Cameroon occupation. We cannot quantify or have the appropriate linguistic expressions that can describe what you've been able to achieve. What you've done. How far you've elevated an obscure people to become an international pride. The courage of the Ambazonian people, the resilience of our people, the defiance of our people has gained us international admiration. The world hasn't seen this before. For how very peaceful, very loving people that have never known violence, that have never had anything to do with wars, to be able to rise up, to be able to confront the evil that has plagued our society by Mr. Biya. It is remarkable. Your resilience is remarkable, Ambazonia. Your tenacity is remarkable. Mr. Biya promised to crush the Amazonian resistance in 2 days. Then he changed it to 2 weeks. They promised to crush Amazonia in 2 days. Then they said it's 2 weeks. It's now 8 years. And the person who declared the war, who launched the genocide campaign on Amazonia, is nowhere to be found. The Cameroon dictator is on the run. Why is he running away? Now it's Ngongo that's running the state. And they are using Diongute to do the job of a housemaid. Ngongo is basically running Cameroon. Diongute has become a houseboy, a servant. They call him a prime minister. They call him head of government. He's a housemaid. Diongute is a houseboy. He's the one washing dishes. He's the one sweeping the floor, mopping the floor, cleaning the toilet, cleaning the washrooms, cutting the grass. Diongute is a houseboy. That's not a prime minister. That's a houseboy. He has no voice. He has no say. He has no power. He has no influence. In official duties, it is Ngongo that is running the show. Diongute is simply a housemaid. He's a houseboy. His only relevance, he's only useful when it comes to doing propaganda in Amazonia. That's the only usefulness Mr. Biya has for him. Other than that, he's the head of government for what? Of what? Head of government? You have Mr. Nyat. Yes, Nyat. Nyat. You have Mr. Marcel Nyat, who can walk, can talk. They just re-elected him to be the president of the Senate. Then you have the other one from far north, Cavaye. Can we have the video of Mr. Cavaye, please? Yes? Can we have the video of Mr. Cavaye? There's a video there in the studio archive of Cavaye, so that Ambazonians should understand what's going on in Cameroon. Please bring us a video of Mr. Cavaye. There was a video there in the archives of him trying to talk. Yeah, this one, please.
Évêque originaire de Mayo Paul Démé avait dit Biya pour que quelqu'un vienne, je ne dis pas son nom, tous le connaissent, pour qu'il vienne remplacer Paul Biya.
Il ne peut jamais. On n'a pas besoin d'un persécuté.
Depuis, les musulmans, les catholiques, les adventistes, les protestants, personne n'a vu ce diable-là. Qui a vu le diable? Elle dit que Paul Biya parle, que le diable vienne le remplacer. Depuis quand on a vu le diable? Personne n'a vu le diable. Tous les catholiques, les protestants, les adventistes, nous, même les païens, ils n'ont jamais vu le diable. Il n'y a que ce prêtre-là, cet évêque-là, qui connaît où se trouve le diable. Si nous disons la vérité aux gens, que cet évêque-là vienne, n'est-ce pas, nous montrer la maison du prêtre. Sinon, il est en train de mentir. Il y a des catholiques ici. Il y a des musulmans. Il y a des protestants.
Thank you very much. Jesus Christ. This is the ridiculousness of Cameroon. That's the person they just re-elected as the president, as the speaker of the parliament. He has taken over the colonial parliament captive. You only speak what they want you to say. When he says no, that's it. You can't speak. They don't examine the bills. Whatever is tabled, it's what is being prepared. They don't read through it. They can't make an adjustment. They don't debate things. When the budget comes in, they sign it. You don't have to read it. You don't have to question it. You don't have to know state expenditures. You don't have to know the condition of the state treasury. You can't question it. Those things are all classified. So you have Nyat, you have Kavaye. Nyat has taken over the Senate. Kavaye has taken over the colonial parliament. The colonial dictator on the run has taken over the presidency. Ngongo is running the show at the presidency. When it comes to official duties, he's everywhere. Diongute is simply a houseboy. Studio is frozen. All the streaming has been frozen.
Shake, shake, no day.
All right, we're back. So, Ngongo is running the show at the presidency. Kavaye has taken over the colonial parliament. Nyat has taken over the colonial senate. So they call Mr. Diongute head of government. Head of government of what? He has no say in what happens in Cameroon. He has no say. His only job is to wash dishes, clean the toilet, cut the grass. And secondly, they use him as a tool of propaganda in Amazonia. So he's going to Biya to continue with the propaganda to get all the colonial chiefs that are officials of the Ministry of Public Administration. All colonial chiefs and funds in Amazonia are now directly integrated into the ministry, into the colonial Ministry of Public Administration under Atanganji. Every chief and every fund is a member of the CPDM Central Committee. Fonangwafo has also been integrated into the special executive of the CPDM Central Committee with 3 other imams, one from the far north, with 2 other imams, and the other one from the north. They are now in charge to make sure that Biya receives 100% election victory even in his absence. Why am I bringing all of these things to you people? It's very important for us to understand how this state called Cameroon functions. In my previous message last week, we explained the structure of power and how power is structured within Cameroon. Mr. Biya does not do election campaigns. He doesn't go out there and campaign. He doesn't have any message He doesn't. They use these structures of power they have put in place for 42 years to do the work, even in his absence. So personally, Biya is a runaway dictator. Okay? You all have seen what's happening in Yaoundé, what's happening in Douala, the violence in Douala by the group called Mikrop. It's a jihadist group. It's causing a lot of violence in Douala. They call them Mikrop. They use knives and machetes to cut off people's head like ISIS. You've all seen the epidemic, the garbage crisis, and the health hazard in Yaoundé. Where is Mr. Biya? Where is Diongute? Why is he only interested in going to Biya? They can solve simple, common, social, societal problems. They can't. He can't stand up and address the Cameroonese people and explain to them why they have such filthy streets and cities. But they want to run to Ambazonia to go do propaganda. When they can't build even drainage, even in their own capital. And you've seen the streets are flooded, homes are destroyed, businesses are destroyed every season, every raining season, year in, year out. But they want to rush to Ambazonia to go do propaganda. Where is Biya? Where is Paul Biya? He's a runaway dictator. Why is Biya running away? I'll tell you why. I know the answer. As I explained last week, the war in Ambazonia is a political strategy. After 42 years, almost 43 years now, after 43 years of failure as a dictator of Cameroon, as the president of Cameroon, after 43 years of failure, there is nothing the Cameroonese people can tell themselves, or Mr. Biya can tell the Cameroonese people about what he's been able to do for them. They can't. So they then manufacture the conflict, just like they use the Cameroon military intelligence to create a partnership with Boko Haram. They manufactured the crisis, the insecurity crisis in northern Cameroon using Boko Haram in order to bait the international system of the post-Mr. Bush era that was focused on counter-terrorism, to bait the international system to become a partner. So they manufacture this crisis as political tactics to get themselves integrated into the international community with the United States and the European Union, to see them as a partner in the fight against terrorism, in order to give Biya relevance and for him to gain some solidarity with the US and with Europe on a crisis, on a conflict they generated and manufactured for political relevance. In order for him to stay in power. So they used the little resources they could have used to build universities, build hospitals, improve social infrastructures, invest in research and development, invest in science and technology. The little resources they could have used to build and develop the economy, they diverted those resources to maintain power by building a military, by expanding and enlarging the military. They're using most of the state funds to buy expensive weapons for violence. So that's why they created the Biya. They manufacture the conflict, they manufacture the crisis, created the Biya to solidify power and institute state violence for anyone that dares to speak up, to frighten the people, to intimidate the people, to stay in power. The conflict Mr. Biya created in Ambazonia, it's for political reasons only. He wants to inform the people of Cameroon that he has a mission to accomplish. He has not been able to. Now they don't even have the resources. They have not deployed the resources they're supposed to use to fight Boko Haram, have all been diverted to Ambazonia. You all saw the videos that came out last week of 12 Cameroon soldiers that were killed by Boko Haram. The runaway dictator has not been able to speak. 12 of his own bees that protects him and that guarantees him power. 12 were killed. He has not even been able to make a public statement. A runaway dictator. The dictator is on the run. Running away from his obligations, running away from his own responsibilities. Can't even send a simple statement of sympathy and condolence to the families of soldiers he sent to the Grand North. A runaway dictator. Why is Dion Gute not going to Grand North to sympathize fighting Boko Haram? Why are they not making those trips to northern Cameroon? Why are they not making those trips to northern Cameroon? Why? Because it's politically inconsequential. We must understand the game. We must understand the psychology of the enemy to be effective in not only countering, to fight and to be able to defeat them. In that context, you must understand the psychology of the enemy and how to work. Have you seen Dion Gute going to the far north region or the north region or to Adamawa? Have you seen Mr. Dion Gute going to east? Have you seen him going to Betwa or to Ebolowa? It's a house boy. They only use him for the propaganda in Amazonia. Let's have the video of, I think that's the second video. First of all, let's have the video of Mr. Biya and the cat. Video number 1, please. Mr. Biya and the cat. Yes. Even the cat doesn't want to see the face of the dictator. Even a cat doesn't want to see the face of the dictator. A cat. Can you imagine that? Even a pet doesn't want to see the face of the dictator. Oh, that's nothing. Let's watch the second video. Video number 2, please. That's so. One more time. That's happening right inside La Republique. That's inside Cameroon. The resistance against the runaway dictator is building up. The resistance against the runaway dictator is building up. They are using the conflict they created in Ambazonia for political motives. It's not to solve a problem, because they created a problem. They manufactured the conflict in Ambazonia just like they manufactured the insecurity crisis with Boko Haram. Boko Haram is a tool to gain international support, to keep Mr. Biya in power. As I've explained, the conflict in Ambazonia, it is after 43 years now, 43 years of failure. Then it was 35 years of failure when the conflict started. After 35 years of not being able to build even a company that can produce aspirin or Nivaquine for the people of Cameroon, they have to divert the attention of the Cameroonese people from holding Mr. Biya accountable. That's how they manufactured the conflict in Ambazonia, to divert public attention, to divert international attention and scrutiny of 3.5 decades of failure. So they manufactured the conflict to divert all attention to the conflict, so that Mr. Biya will have a reason to be in power, and then divert state resources to expand the bees, to expand the powers of the bees, to expand the violence of the bees. They manufactured an enemy to fight for political motives, to expand the influence, the power, and the violence of the bee, so that violence becomes the new norm. The bees now have a mission. They have a purpose, to mask the purpose of the bee. So they put in place these anti-terrorism laws to grab power and suppress the population, suppress freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, freedom of conscience, and freedom of thought. And freedom of expression. All rights in Cameroon have been suspended by the anti-terrorism law to grab power. To suppress dissent. To suppress outrage. You can't talk against the president. You can't talk against the corruption. You can't speak up against the violence. You can't speak up against the horrible conditions they've created, not only the people of Cameroon, but the war conditions they've imposed on the Amazonian people. It's all for political motives, political relevance. After 8 years, more than 70,000 Amazonians have been killed, more than 2,000 villages burned, more than 1 million displaced, 450,000 Amazonians are in Nigeria, Benin Republic, Ghana, and other West African countries. Some have moved to Gabon, to Congo, some have taken the path to go through the desert. There are Amazonians in Libya, the Amazonians in Iraq, the Amazonians in Afghanistan. Because of Mr. Biya, Amazonians have died walking through the Sahara Desert. Amazonians have drowned, tried to make their way to Europe. All because of Mr. Biya. Because they want power. Not only Mr. Biya, all CPDM elites in Amazonia, they are all part of this game. All CPDM elites, all colonials appointed senators, because no one was voted. Everyone now that's also part of the colonial regional assemblies. The one in Bamenda and the one in Biya. The so-called House of Chiefs. They are now part of this game. It's all for the purposes to secure political power and maintain their source of wealth. The war in Amazonia, it's a political strategy to secure more political power, create more elites, and expand the support base Mr. Biya has. Their support of Mr. Paul Biya, it's a support for survival. It's a support for financial survival, economic survival, class survival, fame survival. On their own, they are doomed. That's why, in the absence of the runaway dictator, I hang out too much with my Nigerian friends, runaway. In the absence of the runaway dictator, these elites in the colonial House of Chiefs, in the colonial regional parliaments, the CPDM elites, they are also the house boys and the house girls responsible for Cameroon's propaganda in Amazonia. They are not in charge of anything. They are all tools of political gambling. Let me show you who is really in charge. As the leader has repeated many times, the colonial instruments of occupation governance in Ambazonia has collapsed because of Ambazonia defeat of Cameroon, because of our strategic defeat of Cameroon. The institution of occupation governance have all collapsed. The political leadership doesn't exist. It's now a group of cartels that are being used to run the propaganda. Video number 3, please.
Circonscription qui a eu encore des grèves. Est-ce que vous me suivez? J'ai dit, je ne veux plus entendre que votre syndicat là, vous avez fait ce que vous avez fait maintenant. C'est la toute dernière fois. Est-ce que c'est clair? C'est la dernière. Vous avez compris? Celui qui n'est pas en règle, je demande aussi à nos hommes, verbalisez-les. Laissez-moi les histoires de prendre 10 000, vous mettez dans vos poches. Nous sommes tout petits maintenant. Il faut éviter ça. Je dis, je répète, si j'entends encore, vous avez vu comment on est arrivé là, non? Vous connaissez ce que ça coûte. Je dis, c'est la dernière fois que j'entends qu'il y a encore grève ici. Ceux qui ne sont pas concernés par un problème, chacun porte sa foi.
Ah oui.
Chacun a sa voiture.
Ah oui.
Parce que ce n'est pas parce que quelqu'un a une faute, on veut le verbaliser que tout le monde doit s'arrêter sur la route. Pour déplacer le sous-préfet, pour déplacer les autorités, pour déplacer tout le monde, on vient là. Pour vous voir, on se pose à cinéma. Tout le monde nous regarde. C'est la dernière fois. Est-ce que c'est clair?
All right, pause the video here. Here's what's happening. That's the head of the gendarmerie, the Cameroon paramilitary occupation forces, in charge of that's the head of the gendarmerie, the Cameroon paramilitary force. He is responsible for the military occupation that now exists in Ambazonia. The political governance infrastructure have all collapsed. The general of the B and the head of the gendarmerie, they are now in charge of the military occupation that now exists in Ambazonia. Your so-called colonial senators, they have no say. Your so-called colonial parliamentarians, they have no say. Your so-called colonial mayors, they have zero say. Your so-called regional house of chiefs, they have zero say. Regional parliament, they have no say. It's now a military occupation. The bees are in charge. The gendarmes are in charge. The army and the police are there for intelligence gathering only. They are there for intelligence gathering and only call upon when needed. The gendarmes and the bees are in charge of the military occupation in Ambazonia. This is what we need to understand. Since Mr. Biya declared war on the Ambazonian people, where is Mr. Biya who declared war on Ambazonia? That's why the head of the gendarmerie, speaking French to people that do not understand French, talking to the Amazonian people and giving Amazonian drivers, taxi drivers, a stern warning in a language they do not understand. The use of force. Warning them never again for them to ever think of organizing a protest. That's what you're dealing with. They are in charge. It's the use of force. That's the language. So Mr. Biya, who declared the war, has run away. And these are the thugs they sent to Amazonia to manage the occupation. Through the use of what? The use of force. Now, let me tell you what brought you here. Mr. Biya, who declared the war, has run away. He's a runaway dictator. Why? Because he never thought you had what it takes to resist. Because he underestimated Amazonians. He underestimated the will of the Amazonian people. He thought we are the generations of the Munas and the Fonchas. He thought you are the generation of Frundis. That's what they thought. So they underestimated who we are and what this generation is made up of. So after 8 years of underestimating you, of underestimating your capacity, your capability, and your will to live and to survive, your will to fight back, he's running away from the conflict. Because now it's beyond what they were expecting. It's beyond what they understood. It has become more complex for them to handle. It has become more complex for them to handle. It has become more complex for them to provide the fake solutions, to do what they've done in the past. The old tools, the old strategies they've used to seal the lips of Amazonians, to buy the stomach and the pockets of Amazonians, like the Munzos and the Balas. And a few others in in the diaspora. Those tools have failed. The bribery and corruption they've consistently used to solve problems aren't working. Violence isn't working. Deploying thousands and thousands and thousands of forces isn't working. Buying armor cars isn't working. Sending tanks isn't working. So it's beyond their complexity. It's beyond what they can handle. That's why he's running away. What does this mean? They cannot commit to a negotiation because it doesn't fit into the thinking system of a dictator. I don't know if you've ever seen any dictator that has negotiated peacefully to end a conflict like this. If you know one in history, let me know. Mr. Biya will rather die than to negotiate with Ambazonia. Mr. Biya would rather commit suicide than for Biya to negotiate with Ambazonia. The state of Cameroon, controlled by the bees and the cartels, they would rather commit suicide than to negotiate with Ambazonia. It doesn't fit into the thinking system of power gods. Negotiation is not one of their traits. Within the social, biological orientation of power gods, Biya is a power god. All right? The thinking system is the use of violence. So negotiation is not part of their makeup. Why? Because to negotiate with Ambazonia means what? I'm wrong. To negotiate with Ambazonia means I'm wrong. The policy was wrong. It means I'm stupid. It means I've lost the war. Negotiation to Mr. Biya and to Cameroon means absolute and total defeat. Negotiations to Cameroon means we have been defeated. Negotiations to Cameroon means capitulation. And a man who has prided himself over the years with the ability to crush every single opponent and opposition now has to cave in to the Ambazonian people. Has to now sit on the negotiating table with Ambazonians that they've considered as a captured people. They now have to accept you. You now have to recognize your identity. You now have to recognize you. Negotiation to Mr. Biya and to Cameroon and to the cartels that run Cameroon. Negotiations means they've lost. It means they've lost 65% of the source of their GDP. Get this straight, Ambazonians. Get this straight. Listen very carefully. 65% of Cameroon's GDP, of all the money that runs Cameroon economy, comes from Ambazonia. Negotiations means losing that 65% of what sustained the cartel system. Mr. Biya is running away from the shame of defeat. Mr. Biya is running away from the shame of failure. That's why he's running away from. He's running away from his shame. He's running away from his shame. That's why he's afraid to negotiate. Because he has failed. And he's running away from the shame of his failure. And that's what Diongote is also running away from. That's what Atanganji is running away from. That's what all the colonial CPDM elites are running away from. Their inability to accept and deal with that shame. It's what they are running away from. That's why they are running away from the commitment to negotiate. That's why they have to go to the French to ask for help. For the French to reach out to the Americans under the Biden administration. I'm not talking about Mr. Biden as a president. I'm talking about the administration in terms of the US State Department. The French intelligence services reach out to the State Department and trigger the arrest of the leader. All because Cameroon cannot accept and live with the shame that they have been defeated in Ambazonia. Let's change the script. Let's create a new story. Let's inject a new narrative and give the people new talking points and distract them from the reality that Cameroon occupation governance, institutions and infrastructure in Ambazonia has collapsed because of Ambazonian strategic defeat of Cameroon. So now they have to go after Ambazonian leadership. That's why in the last few years, they've done everything humanly possible to buy out all the weak leaders they implanted to take over your resistance and choke it. That's why the only thing left for Ambazonia. I'm saying this for all Ambazonians to understand what's happening. The stakes are high. Cameroon is not willing to commit. Now it's a bribery, corrupt game they are playing to buy time for colonial elections. So, I'm just warning you, they are going to deploy all Ambazonians, all the colonial CPDM elites with bags of money and loads of money, lots and lots, big bags of money, and loads and loads and loads and loads of money, and send them all into the Ambazonian territory for bribery and corruption schemes. Cameroon is not willing to commit or to negotiate. The upcoming elections is the tipping point of this liberation struggle. The upcoming regional and colonial regional and presidential election is the tipping point of this liberation struggle. There will be a lot of temptations. Your generals, your commanders, your forces, there will be all sorts of agents on the ground to bribe and corrupt Ambazonian generals and Ambazonian forces. Stand as vanguards. Understand what's about to happen and what is happening, and protect your institutions. Protect your forces, protect your networks, and secure your forces. That's why I'm bringing this information to you. These are serious times. There are a lot of vulnerabilities within all the failed movements. Those failed movements now have loose agents out there that are all vulnerable. So these are critical times. The dictator is on the run. The houseboys and house girls that are fighting for their own social, economic, financial, and status, fame. They are fighting all the houseboys and house girls of the CPDM created elites, including those in the colonial house of chiefs and colonial and regional assemblies, will be out there with their agents. They will take all the state money. They will be sent into Ambazonia. They will be sent into your communities to infiltrate, because they want to maintain power. They are not interested in your welfare or the well-being of your future or of your children or the future of your children. They are only interested in the use of force, bribery, and corruption to maintain their grip on the occupation. That gives them 65% of the GDP that runs the various cartels called the state of Cameroon. Once you understand this, then we can go to work as a people. A proper assessment of that will help us to be able to calibrate properly and to set the proper set of strategies in place to protect our forces and to intensify the resistance, and to know that the war we face now is a different war. It's mostly a war of propaganda being carried out by CPDM colonial elites, and the Ambazonian Governing Council and the Ambazonian forces must come together and craft out an open policy on what Ambazonians should do to everyone going into Ambazonia for colonial elections campaign. The Ambazonian Governing Council, the leadership of Ambazonia Governing Council, and Ambazonian forces and generals must come together and craft out an open policy on how the ground should respond to the threats that are being caused by the thousands of Ambazonians that are being deployed into the territory to carry out acts of provocations, propaganda, bribery, and corruption to the liberation and to Ambazonian forces. This is the greatest threat we as a people now face. That's my message to all of us today. Thank you, Asia.
Shake, shake, no day, our voice will resound. Ambazonia's people will never back down. The chains are broken, the pain is gone. Freedom is ours, and a new day has dawned. Shake, shake, no day, no day, no day. Rise to the day, the day, the day. Shake, shake, no day. Amazonia stands strong. We're marching forward where we belong. From the rivers to the peaks, our strength will grow. The dreams of our forebears in us brightly glow. Our heroes, heroines, their fire still burns. We honor their fight with the justice we've earned. Shake, shake, I win. No day, no day. Rise to the day, the day, the day. Shake, shake, no day. Amazonia stands strong. We're marching forward where we belong. We are building today for the children to come. No more tears, no more sorrow for anyone. Our flag will rise high, its colors displaying. Ambazonia's bright future starts today. Shake, shake, over. No day, no day. Rise to the day, the day, the day. Shake, shake, no day. Amazonia stands strong. We're marching forward where we belong. We'll shake off the fear and cast out the doubt. Our spirits will rise, there's no turning out. Freedom is our anthem, justice our creed. Shake, shake, no day. With love we will lead. Shake, shake, but that no day, no day. Rise to the day, the day, the day. Shake, shake, no day. Amazonia stands strong. We're marching forward where we belong. Shake, shake, no day. The future is bright. Amazonia will shine like a beacon of light. With every heartbeat, our message will be sent. Shake, shake, no day, until the very end. A cruise boy to sing. Under the moon, where they vex, your whispers they jam. Dreams scatter like ashes for night where they cold. Hope breaks scatter like branch for storm. Now bad people hand innocent they suffer. Oh mama, Ambazonia, your heart they pay. Tears they fall like a river, like the sky they cry again. IDPs and refugees they walk out. Widows they hold space where they empty, them cry go they echo. For the shock where they hollow. Dr. Cho, Sissiko and others, them train them but them no fit bow. Them voice now like thunder, where they under dark clouds. World where the town face go far, no care, he they go. You leave your children, they suffer. Them stories they untold. Oh mama, Ambazonia, your heart they pain. Tears they fall like a river, like the sky they cry again. IDPs and refugees they walk out. Widows they hold space where they empty. Them cry go they echo. For they talk where they all low. Inside these shadows, small fire they grow. Freedom they call, where hopelessness been they show. For every heart, resistance they burn. Ambazonia go stand gidigba, you no go fear night. Oh mama, Ambazonia, your heart they pain. Tears they fall like a river, like the sky they cry again. IDPs and refugees they walk out. Widows they hold space where they empty. Them cry go they echo. For this hug go they hollow. Mama Ambazonia, your scars they talk story of courage where no they shake. Even when wind they blow scatter. For morning light we go them. Your children go they sing. A freedom way go fly high like wings for sky. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. The Kayama, no vex better go follow. Ambazonia now oh na na. Son, Una conspiracy we go win. Our brave boys do the work for the ground. Wanna flag there.
Welcome to ACN.